Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Interesting Talks with Footprints. Hopefully your glass is half full rather than half empty. Today is the last day of September and we're headed towards winter, autumn, dark nights, cold nights and so on. So prepare yourself, get yourself ready for the winter. Find things that you can do to keep yourself active in your mind, body, physically. Get your friends together that are going to be there for you through the winter and be there for them. Today's talk is about overthinking. Overthinking. A lot of us do it. It comes to everybody at some stage in their life. And in this talk, we look at how it happens, some of the dynamics of it. And of course, at the end, we've got some tips and some solutions of what we can do about it. Because, that's what we're here for. Solutions, sorting things out, getting somewhere. Now, sometimes people, us, you, me, we think about conversations that we had 10 years ago or a conversation that we had yesterday and we're going over it. Did I sound stupid? Did I offend a person? Did I use the correct grammatical language? Was my body language okay? Did I pick the right time? So, you can go over these things, ruminating. This is possibly when you're trying to sleep, when your brain should be shutting down and you should be, getting a good night's rest to prepare yourself for the next day. But instead of that, what are you doing? You're worrying about a conversation you had today, yesterday, or worst case scenario, 10 years ago. I mean, what are you going to do about something you said 10 years ago? You're thinking about, did I offend that person? Did I sound stupid? Other things you think about, worrying about the future. Well, it's obviously important to plan for the future, but there's 1,001 things that can happen to change your direction of your particular future. Simple example, we had COVID. If you had a business plan or you wanted to do lots of traveling around COVID time, you couldn't. If you was worrying about interest rates or the cost of living and Russia decided to invade the Ukraine, it throws everything out. There's nothing you could have possibly have done about that. So you can plan for the future, but unnecessary worrying about the future is, in my eyes, counterproductive on good mental health, good physical health, and the well-being of you in the here and now, and also in the future. Worrying about past mistakes. Past mistakes are there. We all make mistakes. It's a part of being human. We all make mistakes. We don't plan to make mistakes, but they happen. But one thing you don't want to be doing about them is worrying about them, because there's nothing you can do about them. In the 12-step program, they have a part of it whereby people go back into their past and rectify those mistakes. Now, that's a great thing. That gives you healing, gives you peace of mind, and helps you to go forward. That's in the 12-step program for Alcoholics Anonymous and Drug Anonymous as well. They both do it. You worry about, did I lock the car door? Did I lock the door in my house? When you're in bed and you think, did I lock the door? Did I lock the door? We've done it. We've all been there. But the key thing is, what can you do? You can get up and you can go and check you've locked the doors. And then you can go to sleep. Thinking is a good thing, but overthinking is not a good thing. It's looking at the problem, not looking at the solution. When you're overthinking, you tend to just look at all the problems and none of the solutions. And the solutions is what gets you out of problems. But we don't see that at the time because we're just hyperventilating in a way, hyper catastrophizing that everything's going to go wrong, nothing's going to go right, and worries me. I'm not very good. Everything's going to go wrong. My parents said I was going to be a failure. I know I'm going to be a failure. I'm not going to succeed. I'm not going to get that promotion. They say to me that I'm not good at my job and I'm not going to get that promotion. I'm probably the first person up for redundancy and stuff like that, or to be made redundant. These negative thoughts can take hold and then they can swirl around in our head and they can actually grow, take legs and run when there's no evidence of such things. We look at the worst possible outcomes in that way, And then we've got this other one, which is called analysis paralysis. One of my favorite words. It just rhymes together. Analysis paralysis. So that stops you from making even a decision. So you analyze things so much that by the time you come to try to make a decision, you can't. And then you go back in the loop again. There's a process to all of these things. So the first thing, you get a trigger. Then you get the feelings, you get the behavior, you get the consequences. So you get a trigger. It could be, I don't know, You sent somebody a text message, and they didn't reply to you. That's a trigger. You've been waiting, you didn't hear from them. So then you start worrying about it. Did I say something to them? Have I offended them? And you start behaving differently because you're not hearing back from them. And you think you've done something wrong. So you start behaving a little bit more agitated. And then you think about the consequences. Well, maybe I won't talk to them again. Or maybe they won't talk to me again. Yeah. And then you go back to the trigger. Maybe send another text or looking at your phone overnight. So these can be the things that can set off a trigger, and it can set you into a pattern of behavior that's counterproductive for you having the best you. Anxiety can kick in at this stage also. And anxiety is like an alarm to the body that something is up, something is wrong. Now, anxiety is connected to something called the amygdala, which is a part of our brain, prehistoric brain, would want for better explanation. And that was there really to worry about saber-toothed tigers, other tribes attacking our tribe, thunder, lightning, floodings, fires, things like that. Things that were really, 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 really difficult. Nowadays, if you sent an email with the wrong spelling on it, or you sent somebody a text by mistake, or maybe you're late for work, that alone can set you off in anxiety. The amygdala looks out for trouble, for difficult things. It's always going to be functioning. In fact, news agencies really rely on it now, because if you see the news, then some people feel they need to listen to the news, and the news is all about negativity, really, most of the time. And the amygdala laps that up because it hasn't got no saber-toothed tigers to worry about. It's got no warring tribes necessarily to worry about. Flooding and lightning and fire and things like big incidents that would cause death 10,000 years ago don't cause death now. They can be dealt with quite simply. But the amygdala doesn't really care about that. It's still functioning. It still has its opportunity to work. And when there's anxiety, the amygdala kicks off and floods the system with flight, fight chemicals that go into your system, which obviously continue to make you feel worse. So there's a lot to this. And of course, constantly this happening causes the body to erode, to deteriorate itself. So reasons for non-actions is perfectionism. I've got to get it right. It's got to be perfect. I can't have one spelling mistake. I've got to look my best. I've got to have 8 hours sleep, have a good breakfast, have a good workout. Then I can go and do that presentation. Now, if that's how you think, then of course, you're probably never going to get anything done. And then that again leads into that trigger situation whereby you're thinking about something, you're not doing it, you start to get anxious, and it goes round in that loop. And then you trigger yourself off again, and you keep going round in that loop, round in that loop. Is that you? Does that sound like you? Are you that kind of person? Next one is fear of failure. And if we fear failure, then the easy way not to fail is not to do nothing. Because if you don't do anything, then how possibly can you fail? But if you don't do anything about anything, then your life is just going to be there, and you're going to be frustrated and feeling that that you've not achieved anything in life, and that your life is going nowhere. And it's, again, a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it? Because if you don't do nothing, nothing gets done. Nothing gets done leads to frustration, anxiety. Again, we're back on that loop again, aren't we? So what can you do if these problems come up? Yeah? What can you do if these problems come up? Well, the first thing is to name it. Call it out for what it is. That I'm procrastinating. That I'm worrying about something that I can't necessarily control. And here we go in that old loop again. But I'm not having it. So once you say that to yourself, I am not having it. I'm going through a process that I've been through many times before, and it never got me nowhere except for frustration, anger, self-resentment. I'm not going to do it. Naming it to yourself gives you the opportunity to stop the process from continuing. Next thing, take action. Now, when you take action, you are going to do something about the situation. You've got maybe 1 or 2 choices, maybe 3 choices, maybe 4, maybe 5. But write these choices down and pick one and go with it. Because the key thing about taking a choice and going with it is that you're taking action. You are actually doing something. The body will feel better the moment you go towards taking an action. Your mind will feel better the moment you take an action towards doing something about the problem, going to a solution phase. Now, you might not pick the right solution, but you've picked one and you're on with it. and that makes you feel better. You will never ever have enough time to get all the facts, all of the information to go down the right path in life, because we just don't. We just don't. That's not a part of life's plan, to give you all of the information before you make a choice. So if you've got two choices, let's say you want to go to a new job, you've got two jobs and they both pay relatively the same amount of money, same sort of traveling time, similar opportunities to climb the ladder to get promotion, then just pick one that you fancy. Even if you flip a coin, can you imagine? Flip a coin and pick one and go for it. That is it sorted. That problem is no longer going to be ruminating in your mind and clouding the rest of your experience of that day, the week, the month, the year, possibly for some people. Past experiences, this is back to problems, past experiences also crop up in our life. And we think about things that have happened to us previously, and we think that it's going to happen again. The mind has got that thing to protect you. That's its objective, is to protect you. But sometimes the mind makes mistakes. So let's say you got married and you was married for 3 or 4 years, it was going well, and then something went wrong and you got divorced. So the next time you meet a new partner, you're thinking, am I going to divorce them? Are they going to divorce me? Am I going to divorce them? Are they going to divorce me? No, that's not the way to go. Each individual situation has different ramifications, different presentations, different things that are going to be going on. So it's not going to likely to be the same outcome. Possible, bear that in mind, but it's only a possibility that you could have similar outcomes. In relationships, every human being is different, obviously. So the outcome, and you are a different person to the person that you was 3 years ago. You're a different person from the person who was last week, to be fair. But you're certainly a different person from the last person you was 3 years ago. So past experiences, as they say on the stock market, past performances don't guarantee that you'll be making money with us next time or this time you put money with us. You could lose the lot. And that applies to life. So don't bank on past experiences being your key reason for not doing something again. Okay? So hopefully you found this talk useful, found some little nuggets of information, taken some of the mystery away from what happens when we overthink and how detrimental overthinking can be. Analyst paralysis. Wow, what a word. You paralyze yourself by thinking about something and you just don't make a decision. And you keep going around in that loop, round in a circle. A bit like when you see buffering taking place on your YouTube channel or watching a TV show online, with a smart TV, and the internet connection is not good. It just keeps spinning. How frustrating is that? That obviously you don't have control over, but you do have control of your thought processes. And especially now that it's been brought to your attention. Do like, share, leave comments. Tell me how you stop yourself from overthinking. If you do. If you like this video, tell me that you like it, and I'll make more like it. Share it with friends and family, and hit that subscribe button to bring up those numbers so that the more people that see one video leads to people seeing more. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more that watch some, leads other people to watch it. And you know, what I'm talking about is definitely useful because people tell me so. So, till 2 weeks' time, try to stay positive. Bye for now.